going on, Jab Jab Talk Nation? It's your boy once again, back on track, and we're here to react to this weekend's biggest fight, probably of the month, Canelo versus Berlanga. But before we get to that, let me apologize. Okay, I feel like I owe you an apology. It's been a minute since I have recorded a video or short, any type of content on this channel. Frankly, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been really, really busy with work and all the other things that I got juggling in life right now. But I appreciate. I know we picked up a few subscribers, and the channel isn't growing to where I will like it to be at this point, but it doesn't matter because I created this YouTube channel out of love, out of just as a platform for me to be able to just press record, jump on here, and just share it with my Jab Jab Talk Nation. And then, of course, if this is your first time checking out the YouTube channel, you're probably thinking, what is this Jab Jab Talk Nation? Let me know. Let me let you know that this YouTube channel is for boxing super fans, boxing enthusiasts, not for the casuals. This is for super boxing fans that are passionate about the sweet science. And this is where we jab about the gentleman's sport we call boxing. That's what it is. All right. So, and of course, if you are subscribed to the channel, again, mucho love to you for supporting and sticking around. So let's get right into it, my friends. The big fight. And I feel like I'm probably going to be recording a lot more content. So you're going to be hearing from me. There's been a lot of stuff that I've been meaning to record and comment on. I've been meaning to comment on Oscar De La Hoya's little, whatever you want to call it, show that he posts on a weekly basis where he's just like dissing and roasting. That was a topic that I was going to talk about, share my thoughts on that. And there was a few other fights that I wanted to talk about, but it's coming, y'all. It's coming. So I feel like this is a big week. So you'll be hearing from me because it's going to be a great night of boxing, a great undercard. And really looking forward to that. Lara's fighting, Plant, Danny Garcia, great undercard. Great night of boxing this Saturday. So mucho to talk about. All right, so let's get right to it, y'all. I'm going to just go ahead and we can make this the official prediction video, or maybe I'll just share my thoughts. We'll see how this goes, all right? It's kind of unplanned right now where I wanted to take this video. Let's talk about Canelo versus Berlanga. Now, I've been watching a lot of the interviews on Berlanga and Canelo, and of course, I know that the press conference is coming up later this week. These are some thoughts kind of leading into the fight in a few days. First and foremost, both of the fighters, look, they've been training their butts off. We know Canelo always brings his A game when it comes to training, at least from what we're seeing. He's always on top of it, and he's always shown to be a very disciplined fighter. And then we have Berlanga, who's training out in Colorado. He went ahead and just relocated his whole team. He looks like he's focused, and he's really leveling up his training camp, right? Changing up his surroundings and all of that, getting ready for this big fight. So I've been catching a lot of the interviews, and where can I begin? This is Berlanga's biggest fight. Aside from getting the big money bag that he got, he has been very adamant and very passionate about beating the man, beating the legendary Canelo Alvarez, and how he's training like no other, and he's training in high altitude, and he's just prepping, right? And he said in Pro Box TV, it's an interview that I recently saw, where he says, I just have to be great for 36 minutes. And like the mentality, I feel like he kind of like just breaking up into like just small bites of what it looks like to achieve his outcome. And he's, essentially he's right. He has 36 minutes of greatness is what he has to display. Does he have that inner greatness to come out and beat Canelo for even half of that, or more than half than that, rather? So here's my take on it. On paper, this is a wash, right? We know that on paper, Canelo has had even more championship fights compared to Berlanga's whole fighting career. So Canelo is definitely a lot more experience, and we know what he brings to the table. But can Berlanga do something special? There was an interview that I saw with Rosario and Gabriel Rosado, excuse me. And I agree with everything he said. He basically said, and I agree, I'm going to echo what he said, is that he said that, if Berlanga goes in there to want to box Canelo and try to be IQ, you've been talking about the IQ a lot. That's been coming out of his mouth a lot. If he's thinking about IQ against Canelo, he's going to lose. And the only way Berlanga has a chance to fighting Canelo is that he makes it messy. That if he goes on there in that ring, unafraid, willing to trade, willing to fight, and obviously he's sacrificing and opening himself up to some big shots by Canelo. But if we say boxing, yes, but Berlanga doesn't have that boxing abilities that we've seen to say, okay, box him a little bit, right? He's not like a Plant or some of these other fighters, or Saunders, or he's or Charlo. None of these fighters really, aside from Plant and a few others, but none of them really tried to outbox Canelo to success. And I don't think Berlanga's key to success is trying to beat him with IQ, because he doesn't have it, or beat him with boxing abilities. He doesn't have that. And if he does that, then I think it's just later down the line, I think Canelo will beat him. So I agree with what Gabriel said about Berlanga going into this fight with a different mindset. He has to make it dirty. Remember when Chino Maidana took it to Mayweather, just made it dirty, made it rough for him. I feel like with Berlanga's size and his punching power, he's going to have to get a little gutter with it. He's going to have to get a little street with it. And again, I know people may think, I don't know if that's a strategy, but what does Edgar Berlanga have? What does he have outside of that? Has he shown us any boxing abilities that can make it interesting for Canelo? I haven't seen it. So I think if Berlanga goes in there to smother it and goes in unafraid to mix it up and fight Canelo, he could make it competitive for sure. But of course, on paper, we don't see it, right? I think I saw some sparring footage with Eric Lubman, and he got dropped with a body shot, I believe. And of course, that was early on. But I just, Canelo's power, Canelo's real IQ and boxing abilities, I think that Canelo should easily get the victory within 6 rounds if he wants to. Probably sooner if he wants to. But I think he's going to make this entertaining. I think he's going to, really, he told Berlanga, I'm going to punish you for 8 rounds. And I feel like Canelo's going to want to give us a show. So, but I think Canelo's going to try to put him away. I think he's going to want to make an impressive fight. And I think there's a little bit of pressure for him to be able to win this fight by a stoppage. So that being said, I mean, what does Canelo, does Berlanga have a chance against Canelo? Look, I mean, I think that at the end of the day, we see Canelo training hard. We know he's disciplined. He's only 34 years old. Yes, he has some mileage on him. Yes, people could say he's slowing down. Yes, he's not throwing as many shots as possible, or as he used to rather, but he's still dangerous as ever. And he doesn't have to. And that is like the next elite level, right? Is just really he's more of a sniper than just like a, machine gun. I like that analogy. He's more of a sniper than a machine gun. So I feel like Canelo has everything. I mean, I don't think it'll be a big threat, but if Edgar Berlanga brings something different and it just goes in there to step up mano y mano against Canelo, I think he could have a good shot. He has the size, he has the range, he has the power, he can crack. I think it can make it really, really interesting if he catches Canelo with 1 or 2, to get his respect early on. I think that would be the strategy. But he has to go there because, Canelo's going to stalk. Canelo's going to try to pound him. He's going to be very calculated. And I just think it's going to take 1 or 2 of Canelo's snappy, counters to give Edgar Berlanga a reality check. And that's usually when fighters fold, right? We saw that against Charlo. We saw with even Jaime Munguia, when Jaime Munguia started off strong and then Canelo started pouring on. So that is why, Canelo is great, is that he may not have the volume, But when he checks you, and it makes it changes the whole game for the opponent. So I do feel like Berlanga's gonna have to come at Canelo different. I do feel like Canelo has, again, everything to make this a really entertaining fight for all of us. If he gets old overnight and just stops and just takes some shots and his chin gives out, it's a possibility. We never know. This is boxing. That could be a possibility. We could say that we don't see it with this fight, but you never know. You never know. So again, my prediction is that Canelo will beat Berlanga in 7 rounds. Will stop him, but it'll be interesting to see what Berlanga comes with. I do want to share something for a lot of critics, and I saw this with an interview I heard with Jim Lampley, and he talked about how he's he respects obviously Canelo's accomplishments, but if he doesn't put he talked about how, like, if he doesn't put Edgar Berlanga away in the early rounds or within 6 to 7 rounds or 8 rounds or whatever, then there's going to be some criticism for not looking good. And then if he does put him away, then the critics are going to say, well, that's what he's supposed to do. So Canelo's in a really interesting space right now where it's like, you damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? He knocks Berlanga out in 4 or 5 rounds, and then everybody's going to say, wow, of course, that's what we expected. Look at Edgar Berlanga, Canelo's cherry picking, yada, yada, yada. But what if, I'm going to put this question out to all you boxing fans out there. What if Berlanga shows us something different this Saturday and makes it competitive? What if Berlanga goes in there like we've never seen him before, surprises all of us, and really takes it to Canelo and really makes it competitive? The question is, are boxing fans and the experts and all the analysts and all the reporters, are they going to criticize Canelo for picking a competitive fight? Think about that. So damned if he does, damned if you do, damned if you don't. He knocks him out early, he's going to get criticized. But what if Berlanga makes it competitive? Do we criticize Canelo for picking a safe fight? No. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's like, wow, he picked a really dangerous opponent, which in boxing, every opponent is dangerous. Sure, there's levels, but Berlanga's young, strong. It is what it is. He's hungry and he has an opportunity. He's a professional. So just some food for thought. Because I feel like, again, I think a lot of people criticize Canelo, but at the end of the day, the man is stepping in against a younger, inexperienced fighter, but a younger fighter, and it's going to be interesting. And remember, everybody did it. Again, they talked about this in the interview. Sugar Ray Leonard did it, and Chavez did it. And remember, Mayweather towards the end, he started fighting Andre Berto, and he rematched Chino Maidana, and it was just like all just fights that he wasn't fighting the young bucks, the Lions at the time, which were like the Keith Thurmans and some of those fighters, right? With Pacquiao, right? Pacquiao was kind of like the David Benavidez of back then, with a monster. So again, I think all these elite fighters are going to have, pick and choose, and it's frustrating for the fans, but it's not Canelo, y'all. It's all the elite fighters that have been in the past. So, Canelo is the face of boxing. He's going to get criticized, but at the end of the day, Canelo is fighting consistently, unlike Crawford, unlike, Davis, who hasn't really been active. I know he's going to be fighting pretty soon, but Canelo's pretty consistent. So you got to respect the man for still, being in headlines and meeting, and meeting his objectives, which is May and September. We know what he's going to give us, and he's still doing and fighting regardless of who he picks. He's still consistent with his. So just some food for thought, y'all. Food for thought. Especially for all you Canelo haters out there. You got to respect, whether you love him or hate him or who he picks and yada yada. He's consistent. You name another boxer that's as consistent as Canelo, then I'm waiting. Go ahead, leave it in the comment section. It's not Bivol. It's not Crawford. It's not Gervonta Davis. It's not any of these big championship fighters. So Canelo is bringing it. He's consistent. So. All right, y'all, that's it, Jab Talk. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm going to be posting a lot of content throughout the week. I'm excited to be sharing a lot more with you guys. Thanks again for being a part of this YouTube journey. I love boxing. I know you do as well. And let's just continue just sharing our love, keeping it respectful friendly in the comment section. You know, we all have opinions. I get it, but let's all respect each other and make this a really good journey and a fun experience for all of us. All right, fam. Gotta go. Peace, y'all.